Sequel to our discussions on divorce, especially in the Commonwealth countries, this includes Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and a host of other countries colonized by the British. The type of divorce you would do depends on the type of marriage that you did. We have two types of marriages recognized under the Constitution of Nigeria. For instance, that is called the civil marriage and the customary marriage. Now, any marriage you conduct in church, you go to church, you conduct a marriage solemnized by the pastor, is still a customary marriage. It's not a civil marriage. It's not part of the marriages under the Act. And any other marriage you go to the mosque or in your house solemnized is still a customary marriage. Or any other marriage you do in the village where the umunna gathers, the umunnas and the umunnis or your family people is still a customary marriage. Now, for someone whose marriage was solemnized under customary marriage, including church, mosque, or traditional, the divorce is simple. You can simply approach an area court or a customary court within your area, file for divorce, state your reasons for divorce, and it's granted. But a marriage under the Act, you can only go to a high court of, let's say, any state of domicile to have the marriage dissolved. And then there are reasons you can come up with, or due to what happens, or the reason you find that the marriage has broken down irretrievably, because that is the number one rule, that the marriage must have broken down irretrievably, and the petitioner cannot reasonably expected to live with, that the respondent has behaved in a way that the petitioner cannot be reasonably expected to live with him or cope with him. And one of these instances is, one, adultery. If your husband or wife commits adultery, and after committing the adultery, you feel like, oh, I can't take this. Maybe your jealousy spikes up, or you feel like you have been betrayed, there's serious betrayal, you can opt for divorce. Also, desertion. If the desertion is 1 year, you can, that is, if the marriage was conducted in court, it's a court marriage, registry marriage. That's what we call it, registry marriage. If it's a registry marriage, you can simply, if it's desertion, after 1 year, the person has deserted you, has abandoned you, has abandoned his responsibility, she has abandoned her marital duties. What you can do under the circumstance, after 1 year, you can divorce, but it must be with the consent of the respondent. But after 5 years and the person has deserted, even with or without your partner's consent, you can divorce. Then another one is, I think we have discussed desertion. Another one is lack of sexual intercourse. Let me put it like that. The other person maybe is physically impaired from having sex. Maybe he's having erectile dysfunction, cannot perform his marital duties, or the woman is physically impaired, cannot have sex, and this is, of course, is an essential part of marriage. Then it is expected that you can divorce. Now let's go back to adultery. Of course, if it is a marriage under the Act, the fact that you have committed adultery, or let's say you go to contract another marriage outside that one, that is bigamy, usually it's 7 years imprisonment. Usually it's 7 years imprisonment, that is for bigamy. And divorce, before it is actually, granted absolute under the Marriage Act, it has to be at least 2 years. 2 years. There's a probation period of 2 years for it. Hope you understand that from our explanation, unlike the way it is dramatized, because I've had series of experience where clients come to our office, say, lawyer, please, I want you to sign a divorce paper for my husband. I want you to give divorce paper to my wife. Let my wife sign the divorce paper. No, it's not done like that. I think that is only in movies for now. It doesn't happen anywhere in Nigeria where you can just simply, move and say divorce paper, sign divorce paper. Divorce papers are not signed by spouses. It is pronounced in court. Of course, except under Islamic law, where marriages are conducted under the Islamic principle. There's what we call pronunciation, commonly known as Seki, where you get the husband can pronounce Seki, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, and the divorce happens. Like, subscribe to our channel.